Our story begins with defeat. A tower stood in ruin, crackling with purple lightning. No one dared to say it aloud, because once spoken, it would become real. But at that moment, we've lost. Is this really the end? I never imagined this was how we would part ways. I knew it had to end somehow, but let's not get sentimental. We're done for anyway, a knight muttered. What do you mean we're done for? A voice demanded as a staff slammed into the ground. It's not over yet. The one who spoke was the great sage, heaven's equal, Sun Wukong, traitor of the heavenly realm. A man sneered. You talk big for someone on the brink of death. Wukong grinned. I won't die. Hercules, Olympus's hero, stepped forward. You may be immortal, but can you really act so mighty before the outer gods? A heavy silence fell. They'll find this place soon, Wukong muttered. No. A light blue orb appeared from the ground, bouncing. There's a chance they already have. The voice belonged to Kim Yuhuan. He returned, throwing the orb to the ground. So, you made it back, Hercules noted. Kim exhaled. I thought I was going to die. Hercules frowned. It's just you. Yeah. Another man stepped forward. Even Merlin? Azura? Vishnu? All of them? Kim nodded grimly. Yeah, they're all dead. The dark blue orb pulsed ominously. Who is this bastard? Someone muttered. Kim's gaze hardened. This orb. It's foolish chaos. Wait, that thing is actually one of those damn outer gods. A crushing realization settled in. With this, I know for a fact, we inners cannot defeat the outers. There's no way to win. At least for now. A man in a dark cloak appeared, hoisting a blue light into the air. Kim clenched his fists. So, in the end, this is our only option. His mind raced. Return to the old world line. Start over. A presence loomed over them. Kronos, the divine being that governed time itself. In the world you return to, I will likely have disappeared, Kronos spoke. That is a fair price to pay for shifting the world line. Do not waste your energy searching for me. Kim's throat tightened. So, you will cease to exist. Kronos' gaze was unreadable. I do not know in what form I will remain, but my disappearance is of no concern. Kim gritted his teeth. I wanted to end things here if possible. This was our final chance, Kronos confirmed. Kim exhaled. So who's going back in time? He glanced up and saw everyone staring at him. A bitter smile crept onto his lips. I expected this. But it's really going to be me, huh? That's right. They all agreed. Kim turned to Wukong. You were a contender too. So why me? Wukong smirked. You were the last among us to enter the tower. Yet despite that, you adapted faster than anyone, climbed the tower, and now stand here fighting alongside us. Those who long ago reached the top, forged myths, and gained divinity. Kim remained silent. You haven't forgotten, right? Hercules continued. Beings on the upper floors are restricted in how they can intervene in the lower floors. To change the tower, we must start from the bottom and climb again. That's why you're our only choice. A man in armor stepped forward. When you return, we probably won't have the same relationship we do now. If we don't recognize you, just let it slide. Wukong chuckled. Knock some sense into those idiots who won't understand. And if all else fails, just kill them. Another man smirked. I hope you have a hard time, my friend. Kim sighed. You guys are never short on words. He hoisted Kronos' machine into the air, mind racing. They're all so bullheaded. Looks like I really am going to have a hard time. In that moment, the clock activated. Electricity crackled through the air. The next instant, Kim Yuhuan gasped. His hands trembled. His body felt heavy. All the stats and arcane power that once supported me are gone. His breath hitched. So instead of my body traveling back, only my time has been rewound. That means I have to start over from zero. He steadied himself. First, I need to find out how far back I've gone. Before he could finish the thought, a fist hurtled toward his face. A student from the university. Kim got hit in the face by the right hook but managed to keep his footing. You actually withstood that, the student sneered. Kim's thoughts raced. What's going on? His eyes darted around. Chung Seoul University. Right? I was a college student before all that happened. I'd forgotten because of how long it's been. What was this guy's name again? The student glared. You think you're some kind of tough guy? You should respect your elders. The student threw a punch at Kim, but he dodged at the last second. Was it today or tomorrow? He muttered. The student blinked. What? Kim's eyes sharpened. What's today's date? If you answer me quickly, I'll forgive you for those punches. Especially since your weak-ass punch didn't even hurt. What did you just say, bitch? The student snapped. You even dropped the honorifics? In that moment, a fiery uppercut slammed into the student's chin. As the student crumpled, Kim's aura was maxed out. A cold realization washed over him. Now let's start. 9 hours before the commencement of the tutorial. December 31st, 2019, 8 p.m., Hongdae Area A. Crowd packed the pop-up shop, people bustling and chatting. Among them stood Kim Myung-hoon, a student from the physical education department. He scanned the sea of faces, thinking to himself, there's a shit ton of people here. A voice called out, Myung-hoon, over here. He turned toward the sound. You jerk, why are you so hard to get a hold of? One of his friends sneered. You're an hour late. That'll be $50. Pay up. Myung-hoon scowled. Cut the crap. His friend scoffed. The fuck? Why is this mofo being such a downer? Didn't you just get back from blowing off some steam? Myung-hoon downed a drink. Don't want to talk about it. Just give me another drink. As another round was poured, his friends probed further. So, what did you do to Kim Yoo-hwan? Myung-hoon gritted his teeth. His mind flashed back to the fight. Yoo-hwan made his nose bleed, and the eerie way he spoke before leaving. That shithead, spewing some indecipherable bullshit and just walking off. His fist clenched. I'll beat him so hard, he won't be able to crawl afterwards. He smirked and took another sip. I beat the shit out of him. Hope he made it to the hospital. One of his friends hesitated. Go a little easier, man. He might even kill himself at this rate. Myung-hoon scoffed. Who cares? That fucker doesn't even have parents, right? Who's gonna come after us? The group burst into laughter. True. If he croaks after a few punches, that's on him. They clinked their glasses together. That aside, let's drink up. As Myung-hoon checked his watch, he muttered, so fucking crowded. It's a long holiday weekend. 2020's almost here. One of his friends grinned. How about a third round to celebrate? Myung-hoon nodded. Let's hurry up. I'm getting sober. His friend nudged him. Hey, isn't that Kim Yoo-hwan? Myung-hoon's eyes snapped toward the direction his friend was looking. Kim Yoo-hwan, completely unharmed, carrying a suitcase. Why is that fucker here? Myung-hoon's lips curled into a sneer. This is good. You're dead. He turned to his friends and said, let's go say hi. One of them hesitated. Hi, my ass. You want to start something again? Ignoring him, Myung-hoon strode forward. Oh, you won. They surrounded him, blocking him in with the crowd. What are you doing here, fucker? Yoo-hwan ignored them. He checked his watch. His voice was eerily calm. It's almost midnight. Enjoy these last 3 minutes. After that, it'll be hell. Myung-hoon's brow twitched. You little bitch. What the hell are you blabbering about? Before he could react, Yoo-hwan set his suitcase down and unlatched it. Myung-hoon's stomach dropped when he saw what was inside. Weapons. A whole arsenal. One of his friends paled. Dude, just how hard did you hit this kid? Another one gulped. Hurry up and apologize, man. This is insane. Someone else stammered. Yoo-hwan, this isn't right. No matter how pissed you are, Yoo-hwan didn't respond. Thinking to himself, this place has the highest population density in Seoul. There's plenty of people. He kicked his suitcase to the side and looked at the bullies with a cold and detached look. While thinking to himself, it begins now. The watch he threw on the ground began to tick up. 57, 58, 59. At exactly midnight, a loud buzzing sound erupted across the area. Flashing lights blinded the crowd. People clutched their ears in agony. Yoo-hwan's voice cut through the chaos. Your 3 minutes are up. A window hovered in the air. Sector 20131. Population 12,014. The tutorial will begin now. Survive the zombie horde. All zombies will perish after 30 minutes. Screams filled the streets. Are those real zombies? What the fuck? Yoo-hwan remained unfazed. There are a lot. He nodded to himself. It makes sense. It's because of the tutorial's difficulty setting. The higher the population, the harder the difficulty. That's how the sectors are balanced. The realization settled in. Hongdae has a huge population density compared to its size. The places you can run to will be restricted by sector. And there will be zombies lurking no matter where you run, which means this place will soon be a sea of blood. A notification appeared before him. You are able to check your status by saying the activation phrase, status window. You have acquired a basic weapon, old knife. The crowd panicked. They expect us to fight with this. You can hardly call these things weapons? Yu Huan smirked. The theme of the first tutorial is survival. The old me would have just focused on living. But now, that's not enough. He reached into his pocket, pulling out a glass bottle with a red cap. Twisting it open, he poured the contents onto his blade. All right, let's go. He lunged. His knife flashed, slicing through a zombie in one clean strike. A notification popped up. You were the first to kill a zombie in your area. You have obtained 100 points. Your experience points have massively increased. You have leveled up. Yu Huan grinned. Good. I can feel my body getting lighter and lighter. A notification repeatedly appeared. You have leveled up. Kim Yu Huan relentlessly slashed down zombies, his movements a blur of efficiency. The surrounding survivors watched in awe. Look at him. Are the zombies weak? It looks doable. Yeah, let's kill them all. Emboldened, a man wielding an axe lunged at a zombie, swinging with all his might. The blade struck but barely left a scratch. Why isn't it working? He shouted in panic. The zombie, unfazed, lunged forward and sank its teeth into him. Kim Yu Huan observed silently. A normal amount of strength won't cut it. They're slow and weak, but they're durable and don't feel pain. In groups, they're deadly. He swung his blade again, but this time it didn't cut through. Is the effect already wearing off? He kicked a zombie away and reassessed. They're not easy to kill, but they have a weakness. Reaching into his bag, he retrieved a small flask and hurled it into the air. With a swift slash, he shattered it, releasing a cascade of white powder. In a flashback, a man stood before Kim Yu Huan. I don't have talent like you. Hell, I have less talent than most. But you survived, Kim replied. I got lucky. I found something useful in the first tutorial. Do you know what I did before entering the tower? Kim shook his head. I worked at a salt farm. Kim continued to slice through the zombies with ease. A notification popped up. You have achieved an unbelievable feat. You have defeated 100 zombies within 10 minutes in the tutorial. Reward: 3 unallocated stat points. Unallocated stat points? So I can get them in the tutorial. Kim pondered. Should I use them? Nah, I'll save them for later. I don't need them for zombies. With 10 minutes left in the survival phase, he scanned the area. Time to find a good position. Amidst the chaos, his gaze landed on a familiar figure, his former bully, Myung-hoon. Struggling against the zombies, Myung-hoon's attacks barely left a dent. Panic set in. Why? Why can't I cut them? Kim Yu Huan killed them so easily. If only I had his weapon. A zombie lunged. Myung-hoon kicked it away. Get off me. His crew wasn't faring any better. These bastards keep increasing in number. Where's Yu Huan? We could survive if we stuck with him. Myung-hoon's mind raced. Kim Yu Huan, where the fuck did you go? Myung-hoon, watch out, someone yelled. He swung wildly, but his blade snapped in half. The zombie closed in. I'm gonna die. Suddenly, the creature convulsed and melted away. White dust lingered in the air. What the fuck? Myung-hoon's lackey muttered. Something fell on it. Myung-hoon reached out, caught a flake on his tongue, and blinked. Salt? A notification flashed. You have leveled up. Kim Yu Huan, leaping from rooftop to rooftop, scattered bags of salt over the battlefield. The undead fell in droves. A final notification appeared. The first tutorial has ended. Survivors: 4,077. Kim Yu Huan's breath slowed as he surveyed the devastation. So many died. A new prompt appeared. Rewards are based on the number of enemies killed. Enemies killed: 1,427. Rewards: 1,427 points additional stat points. Strength +1, Constitution +2, Unallocated +1 bonus. Most kills, 500 points achievement. Unbelievable feat, 1,000 points. Kim Yu-hwan smirked. That's 3,000 points in total. Not bad. Last time, I started around 10 points. Considering that this is the first tutorial, I have a lot. Another notification appeared. The second tutorial will begin momentarily. No time to rest. The next tutorial is probably... Hello everyone, a voice rang out. Congratulations on surviving. The remaining players turned, confused. Wow, there are so many of you. I'm a little embarrassed. The voice chuckled. Kim Yu-hwan narrowed his eyes. So it's just a lackey. I was supposed to tell you this after the second tutorial, but an exception has been made. There's someone here who's been leveling up way too quickly. So here's a special announcement. It's how to use your points. Scattered murmurs filled the crowd. Hey, just tell us how to go home. Shut up. I can't hear. There are 2 ways to use points, the voice continued. First, the shop, where you'll find items beyond your imagination. Second, currency. Yes, you can exchange points with others. Money makes the world go round, right? Kim Yu-hwan smirked. I know this game well. With enough points, you could become a god. From now on, it's all about levels and points. Use them wisely. The voice paused. Now then, did you enjoy your break? That's all for now. Time to fight again. A window appeared. A safe zone is being created in each sector. Enter now. 100 points will be awarded every 3 hours. The second tutorial will now begin. In the eerie glow of the purple, yellow, and red safe zone, people stood in silence. A safe zone, someone muttered. Is it talking about that weird bright area? One of Myung-hoon's lackeys broke the silence. Let's go. Myung-hoon scoffed. Fucking hell. What the fuck is going on? Where is Chong-ho? Hell if I know. He probably died. Another lackey replied. What's up? What are you looking for? Myung-hoon hesitated. No, it's nothing. Another lackey glanced around. Now that I think about it, I don't see that bastard, Yu-hwan. He shouldn't have died. Yeah, someone else agreed. He was fighting like an absolute beast. Maybe that's his calling. Myung-hoon's gaze locked onto Kim Yu-hwan. Get out of the way. Hey, where are you going? One of the lackeys called after him. Grabbing Kim Yu-hwan's shoulder, Myung-hoon pulled him back. Where are you going? That's the wrong way. Didn't you hear? We're supposed to stay in the safe zone. He forced a smirk. Let's go. I'll look after you as your upperclassman. But inside, his thoughts betrayed him. I don't want to admit it, but being next to this bastard is the safest option. If I just reach out to him like this, he'll definitely like it. Kim Yu-hwan barely reacted. I know. I have somewhere to go. Bye. He brushed Myung-hoon's hand off and walked away. Myung-hoon froze. What? Yu-hwan's voice cut through the tension. If you want to survive, don't try to latch onto someone else. Be a good boy and wait inside the safe zone, little bitch. Myung-hoon clenched his fists. What? You fucking asshole. His mind raced. Fine. Forget it. There's no way it'll be safer next to him than in the safe zone, right? He stepped back into the safe zone, but suddenly, someone behind him was stopped. What? Is blocked off? I thought they wanted us to go in there. His eyes darted upward to the glowing display in the sky. Capacity. 2,038 out of 2,038, his stomach dropped. The capacity is 2,000 people. That's only half the number of survivors. Then what about the others outside? A scream rang out. A body was slammed into the ground. What is that? The ground erupted. Massive, fanged earthworms emerged, devouring people whole. Screams filled the air. Chaos unfolded. A blade sliced clean through one of the creatures. It screeched and collapsed. Kim Yu-hwan stood amidst the carnage, blade dripping with ichor. So it started, he thought. A glowing window popped up in front of him. You were the first to kill an earthworm. You have obtained 300 points. 2 random stat points have been distributed. Another window appeared as he cleaved through 2 more. Strength +1, dexterity +1. Earthworms hunt by digging through the ground, making them invisible to the naked eye. Yu-hwan thought, but if you close your eyes and focus, you can hear them. He stilled himself. A tremor pulsed beneath his feet. He exhaled sharply. Now! In an instant, he stabbed downward, pinning an earthworm's head to the ground before it could strike. He followed up with a clean slash, severing its body. Another window flashed. You have leveled up. Strength +1, dexterity +1, perception +1. Yu Huan smirked. I leveled up after just 2 kills? At this rate, I should be able to gain a ton of stat points. He descended into an underground subway station. Earthworms live underground. They create nests inside caves. Ahead of him, dozens of earthworms writhed in a cavernous lair. Hidden dungeon discovered. You have discovered Hongbei Station. 100 points obtained. Yu Huan grinned. Bingo! Gripping his blade tighter, he surveyed the nest. Now that I've found their lair, hunting them is going to be a piece of cake. First goal, level 20. An earthworm lunged. He slashed through it effortlessly. Then another. Then another. His movements became a blur, carving through the creatures like a hot knife through butter. His aura surged. Then a blue orb floated into the air. He froze, eyes widening in surprise. This was something you could obtain in the second tutorial? Interesting. His grin deepened. Looks like you worms just became a whole lot more valuable. Above ground, the slaughter continued. People outside the safe zone screamed for help, their bodies torn apart by the earthworms. Inside the shrinking safe zone, people watched in horror. That's horrible. I'd rather bite my tongue and kill myself than die like that. A new window appeared. 3 hours have passed. You have obtained 100 points. Points, someone muttered. So, this is like money? Is 100 points a lot? Suddenly, the red region will be deactivated. Capacity, 1,867, 1,500. Panic erupted. Wait, what? Bodies were yanked out of the safe zone, dragged by an unseen force. Screams filled the air as people were thrown into the waiting maws of the earthworms. The countdown continued. Remaining time, 2:57 and 11 seconds a.m. Stampede broke out. People shoved and clawed their way forward, desperate to stay inside. Get the fuck out of my way. Do you want me to kill you? Move. Stop blocking the entrance. Amid the chaos, Myung Hoon's voice rang out. Everyone quiet. No one listened. I said quiet. The mob stilled, turning to face him. He exhaled, steadying himself. Starting now, we need to decide who to kill in order to live. Myung Hoon thinks to himself, if I don't do anything, I might end up getting shoved out of here. I have to kill someone in order to survive. He grabs an old man by the collar, his grip tightening as he listens to the air around him. The spectators react in shock. What are you doing, man? Are you insane? Myung Hoon's voice cuts through the noise. I will kill this old man. Inside the dungeon, Yu Huan continues his battle against the earthworms, slicing one cleanly in half. His movements are almost a dance, fluid and precise. Another window appears before him. You have leveled up. Your dexterity increased by 1. Your constitution increased by 1. Your perception increased by 1. He gathers the marbles dropped by the fallen creatures. Another notification flashes. Level 20 achieved. New stat unlocked. Arcane power. Yu Huan exhales, feeling the exhaustion set in. I did it. That took about 3 hours. It was exhausting, but my body feels much lighter thanks to the stat increases. He checks his updated stats. Strength, 28 dexterity, 26 constitution, 27 perception, 24 arcane power, 13 level, 20. He also has a single unallocated stat point. Not bad, but I can't expect better rewards until I hunt that thing. Deciding to invest his points wisely, he selects arcane power. Distributing unallocated stat points. Arcane power increased by 5. Arcane power is the foundation for all abilities I'll gain in the future. There's no stat more important than this. He smirks. Even those blessed by the tower only start with an arcane power of 12. This is a good start. Suddenly, he senses something. Looking upward, he calls out, "Hey, you're watching, aren't you?" A voice responds from a hole in the ceiling. How did you know? Yu Huan grins. I'm kind of flashy. It was obvious. The voice chuckles. That is indeed true. Anyway, thank you. You've made this dull job a bit more entertaining. And wow, you really did hit level 20. Administrator's lackey. Yuhuan deduces. It was a bit of luck, he replies. The lackey scoffs. People who attribute things to luck are the scariest. So, why did you call for me? To shop. Oh, you want to buy an item? No. Yuhuan corrects. I want to buy some skills. The lackey seems surprised. I think you're the first person to buy a skill in the second tutorial. A menu appears before Yuhuan. Now, pick what you want. Yuhuan scrolls through the list, unimpressed. Is this all? He asks. This is everything? This is all you can buy in the tutorial. Why? Looking for something specific? Not really. Yuhuan lies. Asking too many questions would only attract unwanted attention. I'll take this one. He selects Monkey Eyes, a skill derived from the eyes of a monkey from Mount Huango, worth 2,000 points. Monkey Eyes? That skill is rarely useful, the lackey comments. A window appears. You spent 2,000 points. You have obtained Monkey Eyes. Total points remaining, 1,527. I just think the name is cool. Yuhuan shrugs. Is that so? The lackey responds dryly. Next, Yuhuan selects Basic Arcane Sword, an ability that envelopes his blade in arcane power. It costs 1,500 points. You spent 1,500 points. You have obtained Basic Arcane Sword. Total points remaining, 27. Good choice, the lackey nods. Basic Arcane Sword helps early participants compensate for their lack of attack power. Yuhuan waves him off. So annoying. The lackey smirks. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time. I have great expectations of you. With that, he vanishes. Yuhuan narrows his eyes. Expectations? So they'll be watching me closely now. It doesn't matter. No matter how much they monitor him, he hasn't broken any rules. There's nothing they can do. Still, one thought lingers his return. Would they even be able to figure it out? The method he used to return involved an item crafted by Kronos, Mimir, and Odin. Kronos, the core figure behind the item, had his existence erased as a penalty. Even an administrator shouldn't be able to trace it back to him. But even if someone notices, his goal won't change. A window appears. Monkey Eye's eyes that once belonged to a monkey on Mount Huango. When activated, they enhance vision and fortify the 5 senses. Rank: F Proficiency. 0% Yuhuan's eyes glow a golden hue. So these are that guy's eyes. I need to raise proficiency quickly. The true power of these eyes lies beyond this. He surveys the dungeon, watching earthworms devour corpses. His expression hardens when he spots bodies hanging from the ceiling, blood dripping to the floor. Time remaining, 29 minutes, 58 seconds. Yuhuan exhales. Plenty of time. Activating Basic Arcane Sword, he watches as his blade shimmers with raw energy. I knew it would be around here somewhere. His eyes lock onto a massive figure, a grotesque, writhing creature emerging from the depths. The boss of the second tutorial, Motherworm. The ground trembles as the creature lets out a guttural hiss. Despite its monstrous nature, Yuhuan notes its attachment to its offspring. For a man-eating monster, it sure cares about its young. But despite that, it lacks intelligence. The motherworm lunges. Yuhuan waits. Then, just before impact, he leaps into the air, twisting his body above the attack. I'm taking you down in one go. Yuhuan struck the top of the motherworm's head, his cleaver slicing through its thick hide. With fluid movements, he glided across its massive back, slashing wherever he could. The motherworm shrieked in agony, its body writhing in desperation. Yuhuan smirked. So, what will you do now? Will you roll over? As if in response, the motherworm attempted to roll, trying to fling him off. Yuhuan tightened his grip on his arcane sword. That wasn't the smartest choice, he muttered. He activated Arcane 2 and continued his relentless assault. Not yet, he thought, his blade carving deep wounds into the beast. Just a little more. Leaping into the air, he prepared his final attack. Thanks for coming to me, he said before driving his sword straight through the motherworm's skull. On the surface, an old man pleaded, "Spare me, please. This isn't right. How can you do this to me, knowing I'll die?" Young Hoon responded with a punch to the man's face. "Shut up. Know your place." Everyone agreed to choose someone else to die in their place. That's bullshit. You just decided that on your own. That's right. When did we agree to this? Everyone did except you guys. So don't even think about coming back, or I'll kill you myself. Understood? The remaining time ticked down 30 seconds. The exiled looked on in terror as the earthworms prepared to attack. Then, at 4, 3, the countdown halted. Young Hoon's eyes widened in shock. The timer stopped. A window appeared. You have passed the second tutorial. The safe zone will no longer shrink. Why? Are we saved? We're alive. Another notification appeared. You have obtained 600 points. 15 hours remained until the end of the second tutorial. The lackey reappeared before Yuhuan. Wow, you actually managed to kill it. It was a bit of a struggle, Yuhuan admitted. Would you like for me to heal you? If it counts as one of my rewards, I refuse. A minor injury like this will heal by just raising my constitution. The lackey chuckled. To think a normal human could get this far in just the second tutorial. This is quite the surprise. I applaud you. You're as noisy as usual, Yuhuan muttered. 30 minutes had passed since he had slain the motherworm. It had appeared later than expected. The lackeys managing the tutorial likely hadn't anticipated its death. After all, it maintained the ecosystem. There was no preset reward for such an event, meaning the administrators were now debating his compensation. And the reward is? Yuhuan asked. The lackey smirked. Since you know you'll be receiving a special reward, it seems you already understand this world. After all I've done, it'd be weirder if I didn't. Most people don't, you know. The lackey sighed. Fine. You may pick between 3 options. What are they? First option, the right to skip to the 5th tutorial, along with the information and rewards for the 3rd and 4th tutorials. Yuhuan scoffed. How sly. They must have assumed the 3rd and 4th tutorials held little value to him, trying to push him directly to the 5th. Second option, points. I assume I don't have to explain that one. And the 3rd? The lackey's tone shifted. The final one is connecting you with Olympus. Yuhuan's eyes widened. Olympus? He hadn't expected that. The tutorial is merely the starting point of this world. In the vast tower, there are large organizations and countless beings with godlike power. I will recommend you to Olympus, one of the factions that rule the tower. If they sponsor you, you'll be set once you complete the tutorial. Yuhuan pondered. Olympus was a dominant force. Even Kronos, a ranker, had been part of it. With their backing, his climb would be far easier. But he couldn't accept. I'll take the second option. The lackey was stunned. What? A window appeared, distributing reward. You have obtained 10,000 points. Wait a minute. Since you haven't spent your points yet, I'll allow you to reconsider. I'm sure you made this choice because you don't know much about Olympus. You'll regret it later. Yuhuan sighed. Hey, lackey. If you're just a gopher, do your job properly. That last option, you didn't discuss it with the others, did you? And it definitely wasn't approved by the administrator. The lackey's face paled. How? How do you know about the administrator? Did the other lackeys get similar deals? Were they bought out by Olympus as well? Or maybe the heavenly realm? Diva? Lamingenton even? You. What in the world are you? Whatever the case, thanks. You flapping your gums just gave me another thing to deal with. Wait, what are you doing? A window popped up. Request a meeting with the administrator for 1,000 points? Yuhuan pressed pay. A purple light shone on the ground. A man stepped out of it. A meeting request in the tutorial for a mere 1,000 points. So, you're the one who summoned me. Yuhuan met his gaze. I am Kim Yuhuan, a participant of the tutorial. The administrator chuckled. I see. So you're the one who slaughtered over 1,000 undead in the first tutorial. I've heard quite a bit about you, Kim Yuhuan. Before him stood the tower's bottom floor overseer, the tutorial administrator. The administrator asked, how did you know of my existence? And how did you figure out how to request a meeting? Yuhuan replied, first, the law of the tutorial. All information regarding the tutorial must be obtained by participants' own abilities and cannot be given by the administrator or the tower, a law that you decided. He thought to himself, That means all information must be gained by one's own means. He should know better than anyone that I'm not lying. The administrator, who could discern truth from lies within his domain, stared in silence before nodding sternly. Indeed, Yu Huan continued. Instead, I believe the tower's interference is at play here. The administrator narrowed his eyes. Here, Olympus made contact with the lackeys, Yu Huan stated. I was offered a sponsorship from Olympus as a reward. The lackey, panicked, interjected. Administrator, that's not it. Listen to me. Before he could finish, the administrator's blood-red eyes locked onto him. In an instant, he crushed the lackey without hesitation. Picking his fist up from the ground, he sneered, "Those fucking Olympus bastards. On top of everything else, they dare spread their influence here?" Turning back to Yu Huan, he smirked. "Thanks to you, I can now cut away the rotten parts." He wiped the blackened blood from his hands. The second law of the tutorial, Yu Huan stated. During the tutorial, all achievements by participants must be compensated with a reward of equal merit. The administrator sat in silence before Yu Huan continued. I used a fair amount of points to call you over. And through you, I eliminated an unfaithful lackey. What do you think about that? The administrator rubbed his chin. When my subordinates checked your information, you didn't appear to have any notable irregularities. He paused. But that actually makes you the most interesting of all. A smirk formed on his face. Fine. You may not have killed him with your own hands, but it makes no difference. A lackey, an existence close to a rancor, was killed in the second tutorial by a mere participant. Yu Huan shrugged. I'll take that as a compliment. The administrator laughed. Well then, you've achieved an impressive feat. What would be a fitting reward? Sitting down, he thought aloud. Let's see. You already have plenty of points. All right, you deserve at least this much. He extended his hand toward Yu Huan. Yu Huan hesitated. This is the method used to exchange points. Seems like the reward will be less special than I expected. At that moment, a window appeared. You have obtained the skill, Master of Mana. Mana recovery rate increased by 10%, mana resistance increased by 10%, sensitivity to mana slightly increased, arcane power +5. Yu Huan's eyes widened at the development. The administrator smirked. I imagine you'll be satisfied with this. Turning away, he added, I have to deal with my subordinates, so I'm leaving now. As he stepped into a portal, he glanced back. We shall meet again after the third tutorial. Yu Huan stood in silence, staring at his hand. Master of Mana. Is it even possible for a skill of this rank to appear in the tutorial? A system window displayed its details. Master of Mana. One of the authorities of an administrator, a being that governs mana. Rank, S proficiency. 0% effects. Mana recovery rate +10%. Mana resistance +10%. Increased mana sensitivity. The proficiency is still low, but this is a mana control skill. The force controlled through arcane power, the most important aspect of the tower. Raising his hand, he formed a ball of blue light. A system notification appeared. Skill unlocked. Mana Blast, advanced mana control technique usable. When arcane power reaches 40, Yu Huan's gaze sharpened as he checked his status. His arcane power was at 26. The Mana Blast dissipated with an explosive recoil, shaking the air around him. The scale compensation effect is incredible. It's still unstable, but that's fine. He clenched his fist. With this, I should be grateful to Olympus. Or something. But this is far from enough. I can't be satisfied with just regaining and imitating the strength I had before going back in time. A system window appeared. Time remaining until second tutorial finalization. 13 hours, 25 minutes, 48 seconds more. I need more. More elements that can destroy those seemingly omnipotent outer gods. I need even more power. Another notification flashed. Time remaining until second tutorial finalization. 10 minutes, 11 seconds. On the surface, a heated discussion was taking place. That's why I'm saying we should wait a little longer, one person argued. You think the government will just sit back while Hongdae turns into a battlefield? Shut up. Who's to say there won't be a third or fourth tutorial? What if the safe zone disappears while we wait? The crowd murmured anxiously. Then at the very least, let us leave before time runs out, someone pleaded. Kyung-hoon grabbed the man by his collar. "You're really getting on my nerves." He scowled. "I already told you to form the next resupply squad and get out there. If you can't do it yourself, should I send you out personally?" His grip tightened. "Don't slow us down. We were all going to die anyway. But thanks to you, many of us have survived. That's just the way this world works now. So hurry up and go." A person in the crowd suddenly pointed. "Wait, isn't that a person?" Everyone turned to see a lone figure approaching from the distance. Is he crazy? He was wandering outside the safe zone? Is he brave? Or just out of his damn mind? Someone muttered. Then, wait, below you, someone shouted. A massive earthworm burst from the ground, lunging at Kim Yoo-han. Before it could strike, Kim Yoo-han stepped forward, and boom! With a single stomp, he crushed the earthworm's head in an instant. The crowd stood frozen in shock. A system window popped up. Time remaining until second tutorial finalization. 5 minutes. 12 seconds. Kim Yoo-han brushed himself off and glanced at the crowd. Just ignore me and continue your little discussion. A final notification appeared. Kim Yoo-han, level 26 strength, 33 dexterity, 29 constitution, 30 perception, 26 arcane power, 30 total points, 10,027. Yoo-han thought to himself, I only stopped by to get the clear reward. A voice called out, Yoo-han. Myung-hoon's voice rang through the crowd. Yoo-han glanced at him, but dismissed the urgency in his tone. These are relevant ambassadors acting as leaders. He looked at the system window, displaying the safe zone's current capacity, 1,427 out of 1,500. Young-hoon rushed up, panting. Where were you? I was looking for you. I was worried because you disappeared like that. The crowd murmured, exchanging glances. Are they close? Someone whispered. He killed that monster with his foot. Another thought, eyes wide with disbelief. Yoo-han turned his attention to the people being forced into resupply efforts. Young-hoon noticed his gaze and said, Now let's go inside. Yoo-han narrowed his eyes. Those people, he muttered. You forced them to get supplies? They would have died. Young-hoon responded flatly. It's beneficial for us all. Yoo-han scoffed. You made them risk their lives again just to get food? That doesn't add up, now does it? Young-hoon's expression darkened. His eyes gleamed with something unhinged as he said, You, Won-hoon, listen closely. If you want to survive, you have to be cowardly. Do you think laws and morals matter anymore? If you want to survive in this fucked up world, you have to be savage, selfish, and cruel. It's only natural. No way. Did you not know that? A silence fell between them. The system window popped up. Second tutorial has ended, distributing 500 points and an inventory pouch to everyone in the safe zone. In the case of death, inventory contents will be deleted. Yoo-han sighed. If that's how you want to survive, so be it. I don't really intend on butting in or telling you what to do, but don't cross the line. No matter what. Young-hoon clenched his fists. Line? He thought. Another notification appeared. Third tutorial will now begin. Young-hoon's thoughts raced. That bastard. He's bluffing again. A new system window opened. Kill monsters in the sector and acquire 50 essence. Remaining time, 72 hours. The sector will be destroyed when the time runs out. The gate will activate in 70 hours. The crowd erupted in frustration. Damn it again? Monsters again? Damn it. When will it stop? The safe zone is safe though. Right? Wow, it really is. Is that the way this works? Like a game? Young-hoon grimaced. Kill monsters and collect essence. Do I really have to collect all 50 by myself? He turned to the group. You all heard that, right? You know what to do. An essence crystal clattered to the ground. Kim Yoo-han emptied his black bag into his inventory pouch, checking his total. 132.50 essence. Dropping his backpack, he equipped his satchel. There's sure a lot. Will I be able to reach 1,000? He glanced at his status. Arcane power, 30 master of mana proficiency, 0.5%. I was lucky and got a lot of essence in the second tutorial, but I'm not satisfied with just that. A new notification appeared. Mana Blast has reached 100% completion. Mana Blast has been added as a skill. Yoo-han readied the attack, aiming at the approaching monsters. The energy condensed boom. The recoil was massive. Bits and pieces of monsters flew everywhere. Yuhuan steadied himself. It worked. I have to use all my mana to unleash a mana blast, and it's not easy to control either. But if I raise my stats and proficiency, it'll definitely be useful. His gaze fell upon the trembling rat monsters. He smirked. Why are you scared? Now, let's try again. He brandished his sword. Remaining time, 22 hours, 43 minutes, 22 seconds the second day of the third tutorial. A group of 3 wandered into an underground subway station. Did we go too deep? One asked nervously. Yeah, it's kinda eerie. Nothing we can do about it, another said. We started with 1,400 people, but only 400 of us are left. We need to hide wherever we can. One man, Han Juno, sighed. Kong Songchang nodded beside him. Was Hongdae Station always this big? I don't know. Juno muttered. The world's gone to shit, so this place probably is too. Their companion, Lim Ju-yun, suddenly pointed ahead. Wait, guys. Over there? What? A convenience store? She exclaimed, relief flooding her face. Thank God. We can fill our inventory with food. One man sprinted toward it. Let's go. I'm hungry. Think they'll have ramen? Kong rolled his eyes. We don't even have water to boil it, stupid. Whatever. I'll just eat it raw. But before he could reach the store, crunch. A monstrous spider crushed his skull in an instant. Zhuyu. Ju-yun screamed. Kong staggered back. Shit, there's too many of them. Ju-yun trembled. Kim Yuhuan. I tried so hard to survive. My level is pretty high, but why can't I move? A rat monster lunged at her. She barely managed to block, slashing at it desperately. Another one bit into her arm, drawing a blood-curdling scream. Kong yelled, "Damn it," as a zombie grabbed his arm, sinking its teeth into his flesh. They fought back, but it was futile. Ju-yun's vision blurred. No, not like this. I wanted to live. I suffered so much. Why do I have to die here? A rat monster leaped at her boom. A mana blast exploded through the tunnel, obliterating the creature. Silence. The monsters and survivors alike turned toward the source. Yuhuan stood in the distance, casually sipping from a soda can. Don't be noisy when someone's sleeping. Now I'm up. Jinyu stared in disbelief. No way. I get that levels and stats are a thing now, but he killed a monster with just a can? Yuhuan tossed another can, striking 2 monsters at once with a collateral hit. Without hesitation, he continued his assault, pulling out his arcane blade. Charging up, he effortlessly slashed through a spider monster. Then, with a swift kick, he sent another flying. Carnage followed in his wake, leaving the 2 people he had just saved in stunned silence. Panting, Yuhuan bent over to catch his breath and looked up at the 2. One of them stammered, "Thank you. You saved us." The other man grunted, clutching his arm where he had been bitten. Yuhuan walked over and glanced at him. "Song Che," he said, tossing an ornament. "First, rub this on. It'll be quite effective." "What's your constitution?" "About 17, Song Che replied. "Then you won't die, at least. But you might not be able to use that arm anymore." The 2 grew visibly flustered. Jinyu urged, "Quick, rub it on." Yuhuan sighed and thought to himself, "I think I slept for like 6 hours. The fatigue is gone, but I wish I could sleep a bit more. That was the first rest I've gotten in 4 days. I went through all that trouble buying scentless powder just so I could sleep, and I still got disturbed." Jinyu hesitated before asking, "Are you going to keep hunting around here? There are more monsters underground, and if you're unlucky, you might even run into subterranean snakes." Yuhuan shook his head. "I don't plan on staying here. This is just my resting spot." "A resting spot? My hunting ground is elsewhere." As they descended deeper into the subway station, Song Che looked around. So there really was a dungeon on the second basement level. Jinyu nodded. The layout's completely different. This is a real hunting ground. Yuhuan turned to them. "So, why did you guys come here despite knowing the dangers?" Jinyu sighed. "Oh, you probably don't know what's going on outside since you've been down here all this time. Above ground, groups have formed, and they've started killing each other out of distrust. Not to mention, it's become a hellhole of people trying to steal each other's essence." "So you ran away after being attacked?" They both nodded. Yeah, but they didn't bother following us down here. Yu Huan raised an eyebrow. And yet, you guys almost died here too. But we survived in the end, Jin Yu said, thanks to you. At that moment, a deep roar echoed from the back of the cave. Song Che tensed. What was that? Yu Huan smirked. Thanks to me, you say? But there's no guarantee. I won't just kill you both and take your essence. The two froze, their relief replaced with fear. They had glossed over the fact that, compared to the chaotic humans above and the monsters down here, Yu Huan was the most dangerous of them all. They started to back away. Song Che stammered. You've probably already collected all the essence you need. You have no reason to kill us. Yu Huan tilted his head. What if I'm collecting more? Even still, even if I don't kill you myself, you'll die here eventually. And I don't have to explain why. Jin Yu's eyes narrowed. Something's off. Why is he bothering to tell us this if he intends to harm us? She suddenly spoke up. What is it that you want from us? Yu Huan grinned. I promise it won't be a bad proposal. As long as you guys do a good job, I'll even share some essence. Now, let's get to work. A sudden commotion erupted as a giant snake monster emerged, chasing Song Che as he sprinted away in terror. This is supposed to be a not bad proposal? He screamed. Yu Huan crossed his arms. Your legs are fine, right? Why, yes. Good. Then run. Song Che shrieked as the snake closed in. Just as it lunged, Yu Huan sprang into action, slashing its mouth before it could bite. He landed atop the viper's back and leaped between ledges, slicing through the creatures chasing him in an instant. Song Che collapsed, gasping for breath. He turned back and watched in awe. Unbelievable hunting speed. If he's been hunting at this rate, how much essence does he have? Essences rained down from the slain monsters. Song Che picked one up and muttered, maybe it's because the monster's level was high, but the drop rate seems higher than usual. In just 2 hours, Yu Huan had already gathered 50 essence. He's not just strong, Song Che thought as he grabbed another essence. He's built different. Yu Huan asked, how many was that? Song Che stuttered, there was one more. So a total of 6. Yu Huan nodded. One's for you. Keep it. Song Che thought to himself. The speed at which we bring back monsters can't match his hunting speed. What is he planning to do with all that essence? He then muttered, Jengia is a bit late. I'm sure she'll be back soon. Yu Huan replied. Song Che hesitated before asking, what level are you? With your hunting speed, I'd imagine you're leveling up pretty fast. It's slowed down a lot, Yu Huan admitted. I'll have to wait for the next tutorial to really level up properly. Song Che's mind raced. Just how high is his level for it to not rise anymore? Yu Huan added, by the way, levels are personal information. Don't ask others about it. And if you're asked, don't answer. Same goes for stats. Song Che smirked. Didn't you ask me about my constitution earlier? Yu Huan shrugged. You're right. I should have just let your arm rot off. I'll keep that in mind, Song Che said, chuckling nervously. Yu Huan continued. As you bring over monsters, make sure you hunt some for yourself from time to time. You should focus on raising your level as well as gathering essence. Just then, Jin Yuan's voice echoed through the air. Yu Huan, she yelled, sprinting toward them, a pack of monsters hot on her heels. I'm here, she gasped. Song Che groaned. We barely have time to rest. Yu Huan cracked his knuckles. They're here, he said before dashing toward the incoming threat. Both Yu Huan and Song Che engaged in battle, cutting down the monsters with precision. In the midst of the fight, Song Che felt a surge of power. I killed it, he exclaimed. Jin Yuan turned to him. Did your level go up? Song Shun? Yep. You too. Yeah. They gathered their essences as Yu Huan finished off the last of the monsters. All done? Yu Huan asked. Yes, Song Che confirmed. We're finished. So, can we keep this essence? Of course, Yu Huan replied. You killed the monster, after all. Here, with this you both have 50 essence now, right? Jin Yuan nodded. Yes, we only had 20 before coming here. To think we collected so many this fast. Thank you so much, Yu Huan. Yu Huan smirked. Likewise. Thanks to you, my hunting became 50% more efficient. And needless to say, he thought, I gathered a lot more essence than planned. He glanced at the timer. 2 hours and 57 minutes remaining. The gate should activate soon. If you're all done, let's head out, Yuhuan said. Songshan sighed in relief. We're finally going back up. Jin Yuan frowned. Will the outside still be in utter chaos? Sung Chung shook his head. I bet it's gotten worse. The third tutorial is about to end after all. I'm worried for the people outside. On the surface, a group of survivors stood near the gate, watching it turn red. Look at that, one of them said. We should be able to head in there soon. A man glanced at his inventory. 45 out of 50 essences. He scanned the people around him. Everyone's secretly hiding their weapons and making awkward conversation. The drop rate for essence is abysmal. Instead of hunting monsters and risking our lives, it's faster to just kill other humans and take their essence. Jeez. Everyone had the same thought, but no one dared to act. Not yet, but that would change the moment the gate opened. As soon as the gate activates, steal and dash, the man whispered. His companion nodded, but his gaze shifted toward another figure. But Hyung-hyum, the leader over there, doesn't he look like he's watching us? Myung-hoon, the leader of a rival group, began approaching with a crowd of people behind him. Shit, the man cursed. He's coming over. Myung-hoon grinned. Long time no see. What's it been? 2 days? The other man scoffed. I don't think we're close enough to be exchanging warm greetings. Myung-hoon chuckled, still as prideful as ever. Even though you know what's about to happen. You understand the situation here, right? Once the gate opens, a bloodbath will begin. The man clenched his jaw. This cunning bastard. He gathered all those men in advance for this very moment. How much essence do you need? He asked. Myung-hoon smirked. Well, we have more mouths to feed compared to you, so... About 700. The man's eyes widened. 700? We only have a little over 300. This is ridiculous. We can't avoid a fight now. Myung-hoon shrugged. Fine. Just give us 400, and we'll leave you alone. We'll figure out the rest ourselves. Fucking hell, the man muttered under his breath. If I refuse, it's an all-out war. 50 versus 20. We're completely outnumbered. Should I be grateful he's only asking for 400? Fuck it. I'd rather fight. Just then, Song Chae pushed through the crowd. Excuse me. Coming through. The man turned, eyes widening. That's Kim Yuhuan. And he's holding a box? Yuhuan walked to the center and dropped the box to the ground. Myung-hoon's eyes narrowed. Haven't seen you in a few days. Where have you been? Had things to do. Yuhuan said casually. Myung-hoon smirked. So, did you gather enough essence? Obviously. Yuhuan replied, unbuckling his satchel. He dumped its contents into the box, one essence after another, a seemingly endless cascade. The crowd gasped. That's crazy. How many are there? There's got to be at least 1,000. Myung-hoon's eyes flickered with doubt. That bastard. How did he collect so many? Wait. No need to be intimidated. No matter how strong he is, he can't fight all of us. Yuhuan smirked. Look at the floor. Myung-hoon frowned. What is that? A line? Yuhuan nodded. You all need these, right? I don't. I already have more than enough. The crowd murmured. Then give me some. Me too. Yuhuan's smirk deepened. But it's not free. 100 points each. If you want to buy any, first ask for my permission before stepping into the circle. The crowd erupted in whispers. 100 points? That's insane. But the shop doesn't sell essence. We can only buy from him. Myung-hoon clenched his knife. Seriously? You selfish bastard. You could save hundreds of lives, but instead, you're selling them? What a joke. What if we don't have the points? Yuhuan's eyes glinted. Then that's your problem. Yuhuan smirked. That's a strange question. I'm not forcing anyone to buy. Those who can't afford it don't have to. Those who can, they just need to pay up front. It doesn't matter where you get your points, whether by selling your items or stats. It's all the same to me. Sell our items? We could do that, someone muttered in surprise. Myung-hoon clenched his teeth. You bastard. You must have gotten those from killing and stealing. And now you want to sell them for money? You think people will accept that? What if I didn't steal them? Yuhuan replied calmly. Bullshit. Young-hoon spat. You think that's possible? Before he could continue, Jin Yun cut in. And do you have any right to accuse others of stealing? You kill my friends. Do you even know how far we had to go to escape from you? Song Che added. If Yuan was really like that, we wouldn't be alive right now. We've been traveling with him this whole time. This is like farting in a room and blaming someone else. You all know nothing about him. Myung-hoon's face twisted in rage. Seriously, what a load of crap. What can you three even do? His glare hardened. I bet you thought you were safe clinging to Yuan. Well, you're not. Kill them all. A horde of people charged at Yuan. In a single slash, he decapitated 2 of them. You crossed the line, he said, unfazed. The rest of the attackers hesitated, stepping back after witnessing their comrades fall lifeless to the ground. Myung-hoon's thoughts raced. No way. That line from back then, this is that line. Yu-hwan's voice remained steady. My offer stands. If you have the points, I'll sell you essence. Buyers can step inside after getting permission. Whether you buy or not is your choice. I won't force you. His eyes darkened. But if you cross this line with other intentions, you will die. A notification window popped up, activating basic arcane sword. Fucking hell. Young-hoon shouted. Kill him already. The crowd charged again. Yu-hwan swung his sword, decapitating 2 more in one smooth motion. More bodies dropped as they stepped past the line. Young-hoon trembled. How is this possible? Kim Young-hoon is a level 11. Did I forget what kind of world this is? I have to run. His thoughts raced. Right, the line, he said, only those who cross it will die. If I stay back, I'll be safe. I'll survive. Yu-hwan's voice cut through the air. You thought you'd be safe standing there? He lunged forward, his sword flashing. I've memorized all your faces. Young-hoon's heart pounded. He memorized our faces? What does that mean? Before he could react, Yu-hwan slashed, decapitating him in an instant. The battlefield fell silent. The once clear line was now soaked in blood. Surveying the carnage, Yu-hwan muttered, "What a mess." He calmly picked up his belongings, walked a few steps away, and redrew the line in the dirt. The spectators whispered among themselves. He killed them all? A single person wiped out an entire group. A man clenched his fist before slowly raising his hand. Your essence, I'll buy it. Another companion hesitated. What about the points? I asked around earlier. This knife can be sold for 500 points. Think it through, Dushyik, his friend urged. Dushyik remained firm. All of the essence in his possession came from hunting alone. How do I know? Think about how many monsters he must have killed to become this strong. He didn't take essence from the people he just killed. He proved this trade is legitimate. Yu-hwan turned toward Dushyik, nodding. The man stepped inside the circle, hand outstretched. 7, please. As their hands met, a system window popped up. You have obtained 700 points. Dushyik exhaled. That's right. If we just buy essence, we can advance to the next tutorial right away. Excited murmurs spread through the crowd. Wait, how many points do I have again? I only have 200. Me too. I want to buy some. I'll take 7. I want 10. Does anyone have spare points? I'll pay you back in the next tutorial. A lackey stepped forward to buy a knife. This item is a bit damaged. I'll give you 300 points. What? That's not fair. Another lackey chimed in. This item is unpopular, so I can only offer 200 points. The seller scoffed. Are you scamming us? You just sold that for 1,000 points. Why are you giving me so little? Another player calculated. Each stat point is worth 100 points. 3 perception stats should be worth 300 points, right? A system notification flashed. You have obtained several hundred points. 400 points. 1,000 points. Yu-hwan observed the deals with a neutral expression. What absolutely terrible trades. Fleecing people has its limits. They might think it's a good deal now, but as they climb the tower, they'll regret giving up their stats so easily. Total points, 167,400. Still, it benefits me. I thought 100,000 points would be a stretch, but now, I can definitely get what I need. Jin Yun asked, Are you going now? Yu-hwan glanced at them. Why haven't you left yet? Jin Yun hesitated. We wanted to go with you. Yu-hwan's tone was indifferent. I have no intention of making companions. Song Che smiled. That's fine. If we're just pawns like before, you can discard us when we're no longer useful. Yu Huan remained silent, then gave a slight nod. Unfortunately, this is how things are. Don't expect anything from anyone. You won't last long otherwise. Also, I'm not leaving. Song Che blinked. You're not going? The two of them looked shocked as Yu Huan emptied his bag, revealing the truth. I have no essence left. Yu Huan dropped the bag to the ground as Song Che exclaimed. Wait, how? What are you going to do? You should have saved 50 for yourself, you idiot. Yu Huan responded calmly. I'm not going. Hurry up and leave this place. This will soon become a madhouse. The group stood in silence, struggling with the thought of leaving Yu Huan behind. Sanchez turned to Du Zhang. Let's go. Without another word, they stepped into the portal, disappearing from sight. Yu Huan, now alone, walked away, his mind already on the next tutorial, defense. A man hurried toward him. Wait, did you sell all your essence? Yes, I did. The man cried out in agony and collapsed to his knees as others rushed over to him. Yu Huan barely glanced back. I should get moving. This will become a battlefield for essence. He turned, leaving the chaos behind. There's only about an hour left. Shop. The ground trembled, and the surrounding buildings shook as a thick, ominous purple mist swirled into existence. Wait, Yu Huan thought as a portal door opened before him. A figure emerged. You called? The administrator asked. I didn't mean to summon you, Yu Huan said flatly. Where did the lackey go? We're in the process of selecting a new one. We had to expunge quite a few, and there are still many more to eliminate. Have you narrowed them down? 1 in 3 had a connection. Many took bribes. And thanks to you, a lot of lackeys wasted their time here. Progress in the other sectors has slowed. Yu Huan crossed his arms. How is that my fault? Over 100 people used the shop to buy from you. Annoyed, Yu Huan scoffed. Isn't a lot of business a good thing? Are you really so short-staffed that you had to come here yourself just to run the shop? The administrator sighed. It's not just the shop. Do you really not understand what's going on? Yu Huan thought to himself, I'm a special administrative target. If the administration can't sort things out, they usually let it slide. But that doesn't seem to be the case this time. The administrator continued. You finished the 3rd tutorial with 160,000 points. Your level is high, but your power is enough to disrupt the tutorial's ecosystem. That's exactly what I want, Yu Huan said. So there won't be any problems. This is the path I will walk. The administrator sighed again. You're annoyingly stubborn. I've been an administrator for a long time, but I've never met anyone like you. He raised his hand, emitting a golden light. Tell me what you need. Let's start with this. A window popped up. You have used 10,000 points. You have received a mid-grade personal inventory. You can activate your inventory with the inventory command. And this one too. You have used 50,000 points. You have received an Arctic steel sword. Open inventory. The administrator glanced at the blade. The Arctic steel sword. You chose a difficult weapon. Not that I'm surprised. More windows appeared. You have used 60,000 points. You have received the pyromancy robe. You have used 20,000 points. You have received the magic nullification shield. You have used 20,000 points. You have received 4 ice crystals. Lastly, I want the well-sharpened sword. You have used 2,000 points. You have received a well-sharpened sword. The administrator raised a brow. Your last item is just a simple, trusty sword. It stands out among all your fancy magic items. Yu Huan smirked. I like this one you see. A new window popped up. Remaining points, 5,400. The administrator shook his head. No one will be able to challenge you now. The tutorial participants don't have the means to pierce through that robe, but that only applies to them. He turned to leave. I'm looking forward to it. Yu Huan sucked his teeth and walked away. Then, the ground rumbled violently. It started. The countdown hit 0. A window shattered. The tutorial has ended. A new message replaced it. You have failed the tutorial. The annihilation of this sector will now begin. Monitors flickered erratically as blue static lightning spread across the sky. It's been a long time since I've seen that sky, Yu Huan muttered. He grabbed the pyromancy robe. a robe enchanted with ancient magic. It is made of a special material that grants resistance to fire and increases magic resistance. It's shielding my body from the heat. It'll be a useful defensive item against fire in the tower too. A scream pierced the air. Ha! Ha! Save me! Someone! I don't want to die! Yu Huan observed the scene. 3 people left. A man appeared in an alley. Why are you still here? The ground trembled. Suddenly, fire erupted, obliterating the pavement and consuming the last survivors. A new window appeared. The Annihilation Giant, number 176, is now beginning. A flaming skeleton crawled from the ground, gripping a massive club. A trash-class demon. Skull. More figures emerged, an entire army. Yu Huan narrowed his eyes. There's sure a lot, but this isn't the rare one. So, we meet here. A final notification appeared. Low-class demon, Sarahuthra, has appeared. Yu Huan smirked. There's a reason it's called an annihilation. Thanks for tuning in to No Limit Recaps. If you enjoyed today's recap, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to avoid missing any of our future videos. If you want this manhwa's next part, drop it in the comments. Got a favorite manhwa or a series you want me to cover next? Drop it in the comments below. Your suggestions keep this channel growing. You can also join our Discord for more updates, sneak peeks, and manhwa discussions. Until next time, stay limitless.